What is up, all you people? Welcome back to another episode of CS News out there. We got some great topics for today's video. As always, my DMs are open if you guys got topics or clips or stories you want me to talk about. This first one being a big one, though, because for some reason, when you got one of the best up-and-coming players in the entire world, that being Donk, when people can't go after his gameplay, well, there's a lot of people out there that go after the young kid's looks. For some reason, you guys know it, you've seen it in the Twitter replies or the Twitch chat. People can, it's the internet nowadays, but it was actually a surprising feature from Freakazoid as he stepped in to defend Donk against some weird chatters who were criticizing his looks.
I mean, everyone owned 15, 19, 15, it's the difference, man.
He does what he does.
Everyone played good.
Shots solid as ever.
Donk is bold.
You
guys are looking at anything out of Donk, huh? You guys just, you can't insult his game, so you insult the way he looks. Act your fucking age and quit insulting his look. Just look at the game he's playing, man. Give the kid a chance to have a fucking glow-up phase. He's 17 years old. He's literally just in puberty. He doesn't know what the fuck is happening. So weird. 17 years old and you're literally judging the way he looks. He hasn't even fucking grown fully. What's the score at the end? 13-7.
It's like, guys, you do have a chance.
Coming into that one,
I don't even think he has self-awareness yet. I think everyone else is making him self-aware. I hope he doesn't go on social media and shit. Be good.
Or what happened exactly, but it definitely looked like,
I mean, if I was on stage, I would have been shit talked bad for my acne. It would have been brutal. I would have been so insecure because of that shit too. But the best part was I never really read social media.
We're starting off with some of the bad, so
Didn't
let's
really.
flip it over to some of the
I didn't even know what like HLTV was. Only like HLTV and Reddit. Sean Garris was like the first person to introduce me to that shit. I had no idea.
And you gotta love seeing this from Ryan, by the way. And of course, this going a bit more viral because of Freakazoid's past when it comes to looks and insults being thrown all the way back to the simple drama days. I mean, that was just... what a throw. Just like thinking about that situation is such a throwback. Like, was that like half decade plus ago? Like, time truly does fly. But the fact that you now have Freakazoid full circle defending Donk for obvious reasons, right? I mean, the kid is a teenager, one of the best players in the world. And yes, going through a period of like, all right, yeah, he might not be the end-all be-all that was a few events ago. But this is a player who is trying to develop and still could be an all-time great player. And meanwhile, hopefully not checking the internet or chat to see people just criticizing him for the way he looks. And as Freak even says, the dude's not even developed yet. Like, and to think about some of the people throwing out these critiques for like no reason, it's just dope to see someone like Freakazoid step in and say, hey guys, why don't you just like stop being weird and stop criticizing a 17-year-old boy for how he looks. So like a lovely moment, and you love to see it. And we also sat down with N0thing Gilbert over the past week. If you guys want that full interview, maybe leave a like or a comment down below. We got a lot of full interviews I do want to release eventually. I got the chance to ask N0thing about Stewie2k being back on stage. And I loved his answer because he talked about how people are always like chipping at pro players, and if they're not great by 15, 16, 18 years old, well, then they definitely have to retire. And so here's what N0thing had to say about seeing Stewie compete back on stage again. Beyond that, though, you mentioned Stu. What's it like seeing Stu back on stage in an event like this?
Well, it's fun. It's cool because one, like Stu and as a standalone person, it's just fun to watch because he's always hype and energized, and he's got a lot of like, there's always a lot of talk around his name and how he succeeded and his failures and everything in between. People are very critical of him, and I think from the critical perspective, it's cool to see him like be in the quarterfinals right now, I think. Yep. And like even if his stat lines aren't insane, like showing like he has big rounds and does well, that's cool to see because people love to count gamers out like the second they're older than like 15. They're like, well, they got to retire. Like, so it's cool to see him showing up.
And hey, who knows what the future of Stu is going to be. Hopefully going to be bright. I don't think he's going to be retiring after an event like that. In case you guys somehow missed IEM Dallas, truly one of the best events I have seen in recent times. So Stewie will not be done, and that's what N0thing had to say about him. Also got the chance to ask N0thing like a lot of great questions that, again, maybe we'll release in the future. But speaking of N0thing, speaking of Stewie, these NA guys, we also got some gigantic news in the past couple of days. And well, Well, kind of breaking news, actually. We're going to have a North American major yet again, and I could not be more excited. Announced by Blast, guys. We will see it in June of 2025, hopefully where the circuit is going to be a bit more open. Maybe we'll see some new blood in the scene, maybe some more North American majority of teams. I don't know if we'll see any success in that, but June in 2025, coming to Austin, Texas, will be our first return to NA majors in the CS2 era. And I'm hoping for a lot. This ironically timed after an NA player for the first time in a long time took a big NA title on American soil, that being Stewie at IEM Dallas. And so a lot of people, my home timeline lit up because yes, all you Europeans, welcome back to Texas, y'all, okay? I hope whatever the venue is, we can fill it out, we can represent it well, and I just hope, I pray that there could be a North American team that can actually make a run, because if not, I always get worried about these hometown crowds if you don't have anyone really to cheer for. I'll be honest, if G2 was not at IEM Dallas doing what they did, that crowd is half as loud, maybe even less. That's my own opinion. You guys can defer. I mean, because it would have been, what, 9Z making the finals in place of G2 against Vitality in America? That's not a great matchup. Those are great teams who deserve to be there nonetheless, but I think you guys know what I mean. So if it comes to a North American major, we need to at least have a playoff run to hope for, if not some individual players to make a run on an international team. Can that happen? I freaking hope so. But one thing also I want to focus on was this new bounty tournament also being brought up by Blast, which is something I haven't really seen, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around, where they seed these teams ahead of the matchup or ahead of the tournament, and based off your seeding, you have a bounty attached to you. And apparently in the first round, that you have some seeds, the lower seeds get to choose what teams they actually play against, and dependent upon the team you actually play and win against and the bounty aligned with their seed is how much money you take home at the end of the tournament. And this could be a system that works out great and is really, really interesting to see some certain matchups, or maybe it doesn't work out. But I love that Blast is taking a stab at a bounty-like system. And I'm really curious to see, especially if a team makes a crazy run, this underdog team only choosing top seeds to play against to take the biggest bounties or to wager their bounties as well. Props to you, Blast. I will be excited to see how this one works out. So the bounty event, we'll be seeing more details on. And one last little tidbit, if you guys want to like the video and leave a comment, we have another interview for you guys eventually on this channel with Jason Lake. And so ahead of this NA major, I didn't ask Jason about the NA major, but he had some thoughts for the Europeans and the international teams who come to America and complain about jet lag. And I like Jason Lake a lot, and here's what he had to say.
I know exactly where we're at. I'm humbled by our lack of kind of top-tier success, but I'm also pleased and proud that we're able to represent this region, consistently breaking into the top 10 in a world where all the chips are against us. It makes me laugh my ass off. No disrespect, because they're my friends. I'm not taking shots or putting anybody down, but to hear the Europeans come over here and bitch about jet lag, it's like, motherfuckers, this is our life. This is our life. We live in your town, and then we're going over here, and then we're in Australia or whatever, where you get to play 80% of your career, you know, a 2-hour flight from your home. And that's fine. That's the way the counterstrike scene has come out. But the chips are against North American players, and we got to grow some spines. We got to toughen up. We got to go out, figure out together how to kick some ass. I have so many friends in Europe, from the CEOs to the players themselves. I respect the hell out of the culture they've built. I respect the hell out of the teams that they have that are consistently top 5. You have to admire excellence, and they have excellence. But they also need to understand that the hills they need to climb are not the same that my players need to climb. So it makes me chuckle when they have to come over to Dallas and deal with a little bit of what we deal with all year round.
It's just a good day, guys. Freakazoid defending Donk. We got an NA major back in the lineup for next year, and we'll see if some teams are ready to be built to actually compete with the best of the best out there. And we got Jay Lake just going at European teams, and hopefully Complexity can be a team to make another major, you know? So till next time, we hope you guys all enjoy. As always, my DMs are open for any CS stories, and we'll see you back here sometime soon. Take care.